welcome Mrs. Vicki Reggie Kennedy, who will give the commencement address.
Thank you so much, Meredith. And thank you to the principal, Kevin Turner, for his stellar leadership of Harwich High School. The achievements of this outstanding school: named the most improved school in the Commonwealth in 2009 by Business Week magazine. One of only 19 public schools in the entire Commonwealth to receive a Silver Medal of Excellence from U.S. News and World Reports in 2010. Is a testament not only to your leadership, Mr. Turner, but also to your magnificent faculty and students. Bravo. I congratulate our student award recipients and outstanding student speakers, and I am so pleased to join Superintendent Cragin, School Committee Chair Hemstock, our elected officials, the McPhee family, and all the family and friends of our graduates. And I am especially thrilled to be here with the class of 2010. Congratulations! You did it! Yes, you did. What an honor to be here with all of you on this Cape Cod afternoon to celebrate this happy day of achievement. Even the rain couldn't dampen this happy day. When I received the invitation from Meredith and Fiona and Abigail and Janelle asking me to speak today, I'll be honest, I was so compelled by their letter, I just had to say yes. They didn't ask someone else to intercede on their behalf. They didn't go through anyone to be sure that the letter would cross my desk. They just wrote a letter that made me want to meet them, and want to meet the students who had elected them, and want to meet the people at the school that had educated them. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, but most of all, thank you for caring and achieving and distinguishing yourselves. Of course, we all know you didn't make it alone. Your family and friends and teachers all contributed to your achievement here. They sacrificed for you, picked you up when you were down, and demanded strengths you didn't know you had. So let's thank them with a round of applause. The past 4 years have been a time of triumph for the class of 2010. You've overcome adversity to succeed in the classroom, on the playing field, and on the stage. You were the South Shore League champs in field hockey, boys tennis, boys soccer, and softball. You mounted a first-rate production of Jesus Christ Superstar this spring. And Jeff Strom and Joe Malone won all state honors in music. You achieved academically, you gave back to your community, you led by your example, you made us all proud. And you're well on your way to a bright and limitless future. And I believe you have the tools and the background and the opportunity to lead and inspire others to do the work that this nation, and indeed this world, so desperately needs. This afternoon, I have 7 things that I want you to remember as you go on to the next phase of your lives. Think of it as the lucky 7. First, I implore you to have faith in yourselves. If you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will either. And I don't mean false bravado or cockiness. Those are empty and vanishing and absolutely meaningless. I mean really and truly believe in yourself. Have a positive attitude. In his memoir, True Compass, my husband explained his own belief that approaching life with a positive attitude at least gives you a chance for success. Approaching it with a defeatist attitude, he wrote, predestines the outcome, defeat. He went on to say that a defeatist attitude was just not in his DNA. I urge you not to let it be in yours either. Next, don't be afraid to ask for help and advice. None of us has all the answers. Ask people who believe differently from the way you do, people who have different life experiences. Listen carefully, weigh what they say, make your own decision, but ask. The more information you have, the better decisions you will make. There's a reason that it's standard practice in teaching hospitals for the top doctors in the world to discuss their cases with others. They want other opinions to help chart the best treatment and therapy for their patients. If it's good enough for the accomplished experts, then it should certainly be good enough for the rest of us. Third, don't be afraid to reach for your dreams. I think Mark Twain said it best, and I quote, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. He sounds almost like a Cape Codder, doesn't he? But what he's saying, and what I believe to be true, is that you need to take risks, including the risk that you might not succeed the first time you try something. Anything worth having is worth going after. And if you don't get it the first time, that's okay, as long as you learn something in the process. Think of the Wright brothers, who had that harebrained idea that man could fly. How many failed attempts did they have before they finally were able to get their flying machine airborne? But they learned with each attempt and fine-tuned their method until they really could fly. They reached for their dream, and now we don't think twice about getting on a plane and jetting across the globe. What about the internet? What about Google? They're things that we totally take for granted, and they were conceived by men and women who dreamed big dreams and took risks. That brings me to my fourth point. You've got to work hard. Anything worth having is worth working for. There are no shortcuts in life. I repeat, there are no shortcuts in life. There is no super Powerball lottery jackpot for a successful future. You have to win it the old-fashioned way. You have to earn it through hard work and preparation. Absolutely. But the great thing about that is that it's all in your power. You can decide to work harder and prepare more than the next guy. Don't be fooled by those people who seem to do things without effort. I'd be willing to make a wager with you right now, and I don't ever bet, that those people have prepared like crazy to make it seem that they didn't. The women in the audience will understand, excuse me guys, that it takes a lot more time to put on makeup that looks natural than makeup that doesn't. And the same is true in everything else in life. Even though my husband was in public life for 47 years, he prepared and studied like crazy. He did homework every single night that he was a United States Senator. Weekends too. He practiced before a big speech. If he was going to use a teleprompter, he did teleprompter practice for days. No matter how often he used it, he always practiced. And when it was finally showtime, he made it all seem so easy because he was prepared. There's a little plaque on our piano at home with a message that's an important part of this lesson about working hard. It reads, "No one cares about the storms you've encountered. They just want to know whether you've brought the boat home. You don't need to talk about how much you study or prepare. You don't need to advertise the difficulties you faced. Everyone faces them. Just work hard. Do what you need to do. Bring the boat home and make it look easy. Be defined by your success. Next, as you make your journey, I hope you'll incorporate the values you've learned from your family, your faith, and your school into every aspect of your life. Don't be afraid to stand up against prejudice and injustice. Live your life as though someone were watching, and not just because in this wired YouTube world someone might very well be. But live it with those values because you'll feel better about yourself. Showing respect for others has a ricochet effect. It bounces back and gives you self-respect. And while you're at it, incorporate those values by being sure of the truth of what you repeat. Rumors and lies are easily spread on the internet. Doctored photos and made-up facts can be put into legitimate-looking documents, and they quickly go viral. So don't accept things at face value. And whatever your views, please take responsibility for them. Some use the internet as an anonymous vehicle to spew hate and spread gossip. I hope you won't be one of those people. Our founders were patriots from 13 colonies, including Massachusetts, who weren't afraid to affix their signatures to a Declaration of Independence that would have been an act of treason, punishable by death, had their revolution been defeated. Still, they concluded with the solemn pledge, "We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." They signed their names. They showed the courage of their convictions, and we should do no less. And that leads me to my next point. I hope you will choose to be civil, because we so need more civility in our daily lives. I know this might not fit in with some of the things we hear on talk radio or cable TV, but calling your adversary a name never solved a problem. Ridiculing someone who believes differently from you never moved us forward. As surprising as it may seem, my husband, an ardent Democrat to be sure, was routinely voted the Democrat Republicans most liked to work with. Granted, those were secret ballots. But Ted's advocacy and friendships across the aisle are lessons in civility. Yes, he was a joyous partisan, a committed progressive, and a fierce competitor. But he routinely sat down with his would-be adversaries and reached agreement. Why? How? Because he had his own deeply held principles and fought for them. He understood and respected others who had very different principles and fought just as hard for theirs. He believed that most Americans want what's best for our country, including those who believed intensely in things that he did not. Think about that. He respected the motivation of his opponents, even though he disagreed with their approach. He was passionate about his convictions, but he never believed he had all the answers. And while he loved politics and the art of the battle, he hated no one. And it didn't hurt that he had a great sense of humor. We can all learn from his example. My last bit of advice is to encourage you to help others, to serve, to give back for all that has been given to you. Some of you will serve our country in uniform, and I honor you. Many of you have already opened your hearts and offered your hands to your fellow men and women here at home, and I applaud you and hope you will continue. As you make your way in the world, my fervent wish is that you will not only continue to succeed, but also continue to serve as active citizens, as community volunteers, and I hope for some of you as participants in public life. Most of us won't make news, but each of us in public or private life can make a difference and help make history. Remember, service and success are not conflicting goals. In your life's journey, I hope you will achieve both. So what's the summary of my message today? Just remember the word you spell when you string together the first word of each sentence. Have faith in yourself. Ask for help and advice. Reach for your dreams. Work hard. Incorporate values into every part of your life. Choose to be civil. Help others. Just remember, Harwich.